Hi guys, welcome back. It's an absolutely beautiful day, but do not let this fool you. Our high today is 70, but here in 36 hours, we have like a chance for 12 inches of snow. And I think our high over the course of the next few days is going to be in the teens. Here where I live, Kansas Zone 6B, our winter is like true winter in February. So we are truly gearing up. This video goes live on the day we're supposed to get 12 inches of snow. So if you're curious if we actually got 12 inches of snow, go check my Instagram because I'm sure I'll update you guys on there. All right, well, anyway, February is still a very, very quiet month when it comes to everything garden related for me. I know that the last like 4 to 8 weeks is always the hardest stretch because we are so over winter. Am I right? I will actually be starting quite a bit of the bulk of my seeds here in about 2 weeks. So my last expectant frost is typically mid-April. Last year we did have a very late frost. It was like the last week of April. So I did not get my things out like tomatoes and peppers till May, which I really don't plan to do that until this year either. So I will be getting those started here about 2 to 3 weeks. I am definitely starting later than last year, but that was the plan. My plans last year were massive and I definitely do not want to go through that again. Honestly though, once March gets here, we are going to be hitting the ground running. There's a lot of things we need to move. There's also a few more garden beds we need to put up, and I need to see if we actually have enough compost. I believe we do, but if we don't, I also like to get that ordered and brought in March as well. So one thing I've done every year up until this year is I always order my compost from a local company. Typically you can search that really quickly through a Google search, just compost delivery, soil delivery, and most places will come up. This is a very cost efficient way to fill your beds. It's what I've done every single year. I did get a huge, I think I got 12 cubic yards at the end of last fall to start this whole remodel, and I know I'm very close. I just don't know if I have enough. I'd like to have a backup anyway, so I need to see if I need to get that ordered as well. Which, speaking of, this time of year, this next 4 to 8 weeks, guys, if there's not a lot going on, this is the perfect time to start making a list of things you might need during the year and start purchasing those things. I know for the last few years with all the supply chain issues, there's been a lot of this going on, especially with gardening supplies, because there's been an influx in a lot of people gardening over the last few years. And for example, a few weeks ago, I actually ordered a handful of seeds from smaller seed companies that I couldn't get my hands on from some of the bigger companies that I typically order from. And it took about 3 weeks to get my seeds already, and this is January. A lot of these smaller seed companies are already stating that there are delays, and it was some of my medical herbs like white sage. So if you're interested in any type of like medical herb or any type of very hard to come by variety, it's probably best to get your hands on it now. I mean, it's not really a problem because I mean I still have plenty of time, but if I were to need to start those seeds at a certain point, or if I waited like another month and then they were out, I would have just been screwed. So keep that in mind. This is a really good time of year to go ahead and get your ducks in a row. And speaking of getting ducks in a row, I guess I'm kind of getting my chicks in a row because last Thursday I finally pre-ordered all of my chicks. I'm finally getting my spring hens and I'm so excited. So I went with 2 different varieties. I got Cochrane's and Polish. Unfortunately, a lot of the Easter egg layers were not available in the time frame I wanted to get chicks. I probably should have pre-ordered them, unfortunately, because the next batch of like blue and green layers weren't going to be until about July that I could get my hands on, and I would like to at least have some eggs by fall. So I went with those varieties. I really like them. They are both brown and white layers, so we really need to get our chicken coop figured out in an order. We're trying to figure out those plans now, but I'm also gathering all of the stuff I need for chickens as well. So if you're a chicken owner and there's anything you highly suggest me get, please leave that in the comments below. Or if there's any advice you think I really should know, please leave that in the comments below. My sister actually does keep chickens, so I can call her very easily, but it's definitely something I do not know. And this is the very first year I'm ever dabbling in anything animal related as far as like farming goes. So I'm really, really excited about that addition. One thing I do need to make sure of though is that I get the chicken coop done by June because I will be moving the baby chicks out by then. I will be getting my chicks, I believe, the second week of April. So it should be warming up quite a bit by then, but I will keep them inside until that point. This will probably be a pretty slow month as far as gardening stuff goes. I mean, last year our February was the coldest it's been, and normally our Februarys are always cold. They are always our coldest month. So I don't expect to get a lot in this backyard done, but if for some reason we end up having a warmer February, I'm gonna go ahead and try to start knocking this out. I mean, our ground really hasn't froze much at all just because we haven't had a lot of super cold temps stay long. So I don't know. I'm very curious on how things are going to do this year. Our weather's just been kind of all over the place. But I feel like that's how it's kind of been for the last few years. Seriously though, if you are itching to garden and you're just restless, start making those lists of things you might need and start buying those things. It's really helpful to really just not have those costs all at once. You can start getting fertilizers now. You can get different seeds you need now. You can get garden beds. You can get your compost ordered. You can get like seed potatoes here in a few months and they're already ready to go and you're already paid for it. It's really good just to go ahead and take this next 4 to 8 weeks. That's super boring, and make the most of it, because once spring gets here, guys, we are going to be hitting the ground running. And I always am amazed on how busy I get so fast, because I start to get into this groove of not having as much to do during this like dead winter time, and then spring gets here and I hope this little tidbit of advice helped you. I know it wasn't much, but I wanted just to give you an update on what's kind of going on, what I'm doing during this time of year, because it's kind of a boring time of year. I know I've had a lot of sit down videos during this time of year and kind of just tips and tricks, but this is the time of year to really educate yourself, get your ducks in a row, and get those things you need in order, just because it makes your life so much easier come spring and summer. I will see you guys all next week though. Bye!